Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas!
Hi guys, welcome once again to Pooch Patrol TV and the very special festive edition. I'd like to wish everybody here a very merry happy Christmas from everybody here at Pooch Patrol. This will probably be the last one before Christmas, and next year we will be beginning with a very special training puppy video for all you guys that may or may not have had a puppy for Christmas. This is kind of like, I'm not being a Grinch, but a warning to everybody while you're having your fun, when you've got your family around and everything's going down. Just be aware that there are certain things that may cause injury or illness to our pets. And this is just a little guide to help you get through that.
Nom nom nom.
So what I'd like to do is just go through what a dog or a cat may or may not be able to eat over Christmas. There are certain things that we as humans can eat that may be poisonous and toxic for our pets, and you might not realise this. And also just remember, anything you put on the tree, whether it's decorations or even like chocolate coins for example, or even stuff you wrap up and put under the Christmas tree, if it is a food related present, just be aware that your dog might well sniff it out, unwrap it while your back is turned and help himself. So I'm going to go through what to avoid, what the dogs can give, and just be aware of some of the decorations that may be around the house as well. So buckle up, have a seat, grab a coffee, and I hope you enjoy. So I think the first thing we really need to remember is, if we're giving a dog a present for Christmas like we all do, don't give them rawhide. Rawhide, it's the devil's food. And not so long ago I have done a blog and I've done a YouTube video on the dangers of rawhide, how it's made and why it's so deadly. So I'm not going to go into it now. What I can do is I will post those links in the description after this video. But I think the first thing we need to think about is chocolate. So chocolate contains an ingredient, and I'm not going to pronounce this very well, theobromine, and this is good for humans, but it's really dangerous for dogs, and if it is eaten they will be at risk from developing kidney problems as well as with their central nervous system and heart. Stuff like advent calendars, tree decorations, gifts under the Christmas tree example that's got chocolates in, just be mindful that if the dog eats any of this, it can be quite deadly and nasty. Mince pies, puddings and cake, we need to avoid this as well. Basically anything with currants, raisins or sultanas in, and figs and dates, this will be toxic to our dogs, so let's just keep them away. So stuffing, gravy and stuff like sausages, but the sausages that have chives and garlic and onion in, these need to be avoided. These are harmful, and also for cats they are poisonous as well. Now you may think bones is a bit silly, but if you give a dog boiled bones, they can splinter and it makes them really brittle. Chicken bones, as a rule, you shouldn't give to dogs anyway. But when they splinter, they can get lodged in the throat, and if swallowed, they can do nasty internal damage. Large fragments can cause obstructions in the bowel or stomach. Smaller splinters will cause gut irritation or possible perforation. So please be careful with your leftovers. If you boiled it, even if it's like a beef bone or something like that, make sure when you put it in the bin it's away from your dogs. Nuts need to be avoided as well. Walnuts especially, these can cause gastric obstruction, especially if they are swallowed whole. Not many of our dogs chew, let's be honest. Almonds, pecans, pistachios and macadamias all cause diarrhea and vomiting, and can cause nasty abdominal pain. Now we all know cheese, or we might know cheese is quite good for our dogs in small amounts, but a lot of dogs can be lactose intolerant, so hopefully you've had your dog a while by now and you'll know whether your dog is or isn't. But blue cheese is the one you need to avoid. Blue cheese is potentially bad as it contains a chemical called Roca 14C, which dogs are extremely sensitive to. Now in the event that any of these things have been eaten, or you're worried that your dog's eaten something that may be unsafe or toxic, I suggest that you phone the vets immediately. It might be a case that they're okay. I have heard many times when I've told dog owners that chocolate is bad for their dogs, and they've said, oh, my dog's had chocolate, it's fine. I think those people are naive, and I think those people are very lucky. But eaten in mass quantities, if your dog throws up after it's eaten chocolate, for example, it could be very, very potentially nasty. So my advice is to, if you're worried, phone up the vets and get their advice. The last thing we want is to wake up on Boxing Day with our hangovers and our full bellies, and we've got a poorly dog that's throwing up everywhere, it's got really bad diarrhea, and we have to take it to the vets to be looked after. So now we know what's actually bad for them. What can we actually give our beloved pets for Christmas? Well, obviously you've got turkey meat, you've got any type of meat, beef meat, depending on what you got, chicken meat. The usual kind of meat that you give your dog, any of that's okay. Same with fish. Perhaps you might have salmon or something like that. A dog will love that. But again, just remember with all this, do remove the bones. And again, lamb meat. Lamb's good for the dogs. If you've got any leftover lamb, they will love that. But remove the bones. So, scrambled eggs, green beans, sprouts, parsnips, peas and swede are all really good. And Kevin a carrot. Yes, if you've got carrots, even if they're called Kevin, then you can feed them to your dogs. Potatoes are good, especially if they're mashed, but they need to have minimal cream in or minimal butter in if you put anything in there. So perhaps if you put a little bit aside that's got none of this in for your dogs, that would be brilliant. Also, new and sweet potatoes are also pretty good. Yogurt is good for your dogs, but again, if it doesn't contain a chemical called xylitol, I think that's how you pronounce it, this can be found in stuff like yogurt and peanut butter as well. It is an artificial sweetener and can be quite toxic and poisonous to the dogs. So please, if you can, check the label before you give your furry friends anything like this. So now we've gone through what is good for our dogs, what we need to avoid giving our dogs in regards to food and drink. But what about decorations? The world has gone mad with decorations at the moment, and why not? This year has been hell, and these decorations have brightened up the place immensely and just, brought a smile to everybody's home. But there are certain things I think we need to just be aware of, such as your Christmas tree, especially if it's a real one. The needles from this tree can get stuck in the pores and mouths if chewed, so be careful if you have a real one. Using a circuit breaker is a good way to prevent an electric shock if your pets cut through the wires, especially cats if they climb the tree and get tangled up in the lights of the tree. We've all seen those videos, and you may even have a cat or two yourself that likes to climb up and play with those lights. So just be careful, use the circuit breaker, and hopefully if anything untoward happens, your pets will be fine. Tinsel can cause a blockage if swallowed, and this is especially the case in cats. It will cause a blockage in their stomach. You might need an operation to get it removed. So perhaps we need to keep an eye on that. Ornaments need to be watched out for. Broken baubles, especially glass ones, will cut pores. If chewed and licked, then you may get festive glitter poos as well. Now, I have seen this firsthand. I've seen a dog who managed to get hold of a bauble that was dangling on the bottom of the tree, and he broke it all up and he chewed it and he licked it, and when I came to walk in, there was glitter absolutely everywhere. Fortunately, you know, he didn't hurt himself and he didn't swallow anything to make him poorly, but he did lick all the glitter off. And when I took him for a walk, it was a nice surprise, I have to say, getting a poo that's got all this glitter in. It did look nicer, but not something I would recommend, of course. We need to look out for our plants as well. Toxic plants such as holly and ivy, these can be quite poisonous if chewed, licked or swallowed. So maybe if we've got any holly or ivy or lilies or anything like that, just keep them out of reach if we can. And crackers is a package on its own. So the bang of a cracker may scare your dogs. Now, you know, if you've got a bit of a nervy dog, and we all know what happens during fireworks when these bangs go off. Admittedly, it's not quite as a big bang as you see in the fireworks, but you know your dog better than anybody else. And if you think they're going to get a little bit nervy from that bang, maybe just put them in the kitchen for 5 minutes while you all pull your crackers. And also watch out they don't grab those flying crappy little toys that come in them. If they swallowed them, little bits of plastic and everything like that, that can get lodged, it can cause problems, and ultimately you might have to go down to the vets to get them looked at. Well, that's it for this year. Thank you everybody for all your support, all your love, and all your comments and recommendations. I've taken everything on board. This has been a great journey. I'm learning a hell of a lot, and hopefully in the new year we will bring you better videos, more information, more fun stuff, and more enjoyable content. I think our first video in the new year will be tips on puppy training, so that is one to look out for. So we do have some of the social aspects to the Pooch Patrol family. We have a Facebook page, if you'd like to go over and have a look at that. I do write regular blogs as well, and also our Instagram account, full of lots of pictures of all our adventures when I'm out walking. So please guys, go and have a look, and if you can, please subscribe, keep updated, and you'll get regular updates when we release more and more videos. Thank you once again, have a great Christmas, and I hope you have a happy new year, and we'll see you real soon. Take care guys.